So there's not that many people out here in 2026 that can remember the times of GTA Online 2013. And, man, a lot of times passed since then, and GTA Online obviously has changed a lot. But if you know certain things, for all my OGs out there, man, if you are an OG, drop a comment. I'd appreciate it. Hit that like button. Who remembers when Off the Radar wasn't even in GTA Online? Who remembers back when nobody was worried about using helmets? People were using advanced rifles, everything. There was no first person. There was no orbital cannons. There was no submarine tanks. There was no RC cars. None of that shit. None of it existed. And it was really just better times, not necessarily because of that stuff being in the game or what's in there now, but people were they wanted to do PvP more back then. People wanted to be crews were more of a thing back then. The fuck's this goofy doing? People were just more included in doing everything. People were on the ground. You didn't have the oppressor MK2. You didn't have, you had the laser jet, but you had to go steal it from Fort Zancudo. I mean, these are just those things. If you know what I mean? And that's just the thing, man. It's I miss those times where people were down to do PvP and shit, shoot out, not to worry about no bullshit. You're going along and you're doing what you want to do. You have your crews. CVCs were more of a thing back then, and now now it's just a toxic cesspool pretty much. Now I know you might say, wait till you don't help much out with the fact of griefing and so on, but really, if you think about it, griefing has really always been there, just in different ways, because back then you didn't have all the different ways that you can do it now. I mean, really, your aim and everything had to be better back then. If you didn't know how to aim, you didn't have you had that basic ass sniper, man. You didn't even have the Mark II sniper or any of that. And you had to, if you weren't hitting your shots, and I think you could call Brucey for BST, if I remember right. I think that was always in there, but people weren't even worried about doing that. They were you were straight out shooting, if you weren't using. And this is what I bring up, AR shooting, stuff like that. People, if you were good with ARs back then, you were considered a top player, besides using a sniper. But really hitting any shot was a lot more difficult than it is now. Now you can strafe, now you can use the fucking MK2 sniper without bull shark, hit one shots. You can use anything that you want essentially to get kills. You're not gonna be on a short lack of kills. The people nowadays aren't there to do CBCs. People aren't. I mean, people still do crew battles, I think, but it's not the same, man. Back when I used to do my CVCs, it was hours on end. You go from this part of the city all the way out to Zancudo over here, or fucking Trevor's Air Base or something over here. The shit was crazy, man. You wouldn't even realize that it was that long because the shit was so damn fun. And really, I wish I was making content back then, instead of waiting for a long time to do it, which I couldn't really do it for a long time. But anyways, damn. Bro's name is It's Cool Swag B033. Come on, imagine naming your shit that. But like I said, a lot of people nowadays, man, they're not even about doing that. He said, why? Go on, kid 14. Shut the fuck up. God damn. Sending me a fucking message. Goofy. But nowadays people aren't about doing that. They're just about getting, easy 1-0s, which I ain't gonna lie, I've done that, but people have the opportunity in these lobbies to take me out. You know what I mean? They have the opportunity to do everything that I do in the same way. Yes, it may not be as toxic. Yes, they may use something different, but they can still take me out if they want to bad enough. You know what I mean? A lot of these people just sit here and whine. They'd rather complain. They'd rather, I don't know. They just don't. People aren't as... Don't do it. Don't do it. Got Jerry. What's his name? Jerry Thuspe? What the fuck? Imagine naming your shit that. How in the fuck did that not hit? He could have easily flipped right there and got me. I ain't even gonna lie. He could have easily flipped that shit and got me, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, those are just certain things, back then in that time. Not to mention, people were doing RNGs and shit more so back then, which you didn't have the straight training facility and all that wasn't out. I don't think quite yet. You know, like people were just doing more like, I'd say more city fights than anything. No mercy for you. Imagine naming your shit that. Come on, bro. Look at this Goofy. Did people pop that smoke? Like, is it supposed to like distract you or something? Is it supposed to like think people or make people think they're gonna have like better hits or some shit? Damn, we're just spinning in circles and shit. I feel like one of those missiles are about to hit me though. I ain't gonna lie. It is kind of distracting, I can admit that, but it's annoying more so than anything. Damn, bruh. Bamboozling his shit, man. We're bamboozling his shit. Yeah, come here, slide under here. Slide under this shit, Goofy. But hey, like I said, drop your opinion in the comments, man. If you are an OG player, he ain't gonna come under here. Yeah, fly away. You know, people have OG comments that they can make. If you're a true OG, then you know, like I said, the number one OG thing to remember is when Off the Radar wasn't even in. You know what I mean? Off the Radar, it got included, I think, like a month in or 2 months. It wasn't very long, and they put that in. But this is also when people were doing like those basic ass death matches. Like Rockstar hadn't implemented, you know, a single heist yet, like nothing. But then when they did that, like, you guys probably remember, the heists were literally broken. Like, they were broken to shit. The console couldn't handle it. Like, there's so many things, but not to mention like the hype around the DLC updates was insane. Like, in their trailers used to be so much better. Like, up until recent years, they kind of started like rushing more on them. They started, you know, making them like, I don't know, they're a lot better when you go look at the older trailers. Like, even up in PS4 days, they were still good. But going through 3 different generations of consoles, you know, to now, it's just different, you know, and a lot of people don't understand what that's like, you know, until you get to that point. But or like if you went from that point to now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like Rockstar, shout out to Rockstar, man, because it's been good for a long time. But at the same time, man, like, you know, I don't know, it's disappointing because we could have had so many more accessible buildings. We could have had so many more everything. We could have had fucking, you know, that fucking car wash shit that they put in, that could have been put in a long time ago. The arena they put in 6 years in, or 7 years, however long it was, that shit could have been put in a lot sooner than it was before. You know, like, they waited a long time. I mean, even like the laser jet, you know, the laser jet, you had to steal that shit for years. You know, like, you had to steal that thing for literally years before they made it to where you could purchase it. And then they nerfed this shit, like, because these damn grinders want to sit here and cry and shit. But anyways, we'll leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think. You know, imagine being back in those times, though. Imagine we were back in GTA Online 2013. It was literally good times, man. And maybe GTA 6 will bring some of that back, and we'll see. I mean, honestly, maybe PvP will kind of revive itself. Maybe people will be more into that, which obviously we're going to be grinding, figuring out the map, figuring out money, all that shit. So we will see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn on your post notifications. We'll leave it at that, and you guys have a good one. Peace.